Welcome back to the show, family. The devil is a liar. We had some technical issues in the last show, but I think now we are good to go. I think we are sorted. So we were talking about the Mnangagwa government's embarrassment that has happened in the Henrieta Rushwaya case. And I was explaining that Henrieta Rushwaya, as we remember, is the niece to Emmerson Mnangagwa, who was caught with 6 kgs of gold at Robert Mugabe International Airport, about to board a plane to Dubai. And when she went to court, she had to tell the court that she took a wrong bag. The bag did not belong to her. And I was explaining that she went through the front door of the court and just through the back door of the court, exactly going back home. All was well with her. She retained her job, anyway, her office, everything was fine. And again, on the second note, we saw again Henrieta Rushwaya being dragged before the courts once again after she defrauded some foreigners of quite a substantial amount of money, and she was taken to court and again, as usual, was given that quick bail and she just had to go. And so as we are looking at this, we are looking at the proceedings that have been happening in the Henrieta Rushwaya case and an embarrassment that is happening in the government of Mnangagwa, where we are having a case of Rushwaya, giving birth to another case again on top of it. Just imagine. And I was explaining that when these people talk about it, they don't even have shame. They are not even ashamed when they talk about it. Imagine that in the case of Rushwaya, we are seeing again a new court case coming out and somebody being convicted out of a case that was brought to court. And the ZANU-PF people, when they speak about it, they speak as if it's just a normal thing that is happening, not even that much of an embarrassment that is happening to the government of Mnangagwa, the courts, and the officials of ZANU-PF. The ZANU-PF patriots here are saying prosecutor convicted for demanding US 20,000 bribe from Henrieta Rushwaya. Just imagine, as we are on a case that is a big case that involves quite a lot of money, substantial amounts of money, you still have a prosecutor within the courts of Zimbabwe who is again asking for bribe. He wanted to be given 20,000 US dollars so that he can play tricks and save Henrieta Rushwaya from the cases. But unfortunately, I think this prosecutor must be very, very foolish, because how could you want to save Mnangagwa's own niece? Can you really save Mnangagwa's niece? I don't see you. Because Mnangagwa will simply save Henrieta. Henrieta does not even need to pay a bribe. Henrieta does not need to give the prosecutor anything at all, because Mnangagwa will simply give an instruction to the courts to say she has to walk in and walk out. As always, we have seen this happening. This is the norm in our courts. Have we been surprised when we saw this happening right in the case we were talking about yesterday, the case of Chris Muchangwa's son? Exactly that's the same thing happening, that the judge was called to the State House and he had a meeting with Emmerson Mnangagwa. Whatever that was said there, heaven knows. Whatever that was asked of the judge to do, heaven knows. And when the judge comes back to a bench, what does she do? She ended up asking herself to be removed from the case, and she says for personal reasons. Whatever the reasons are, we are still surprised, because this is exactly what is happening. Mnangagwa has just captured every system in Zimbabwe, and he can just give instruction from above on how things have to be done. So this prosecutor must have been very, very naive to think that he can help Henrieta Rushwaya. Does he think he can save Henrieta Rushwaya from Mnangagwa? Because Mnangagwa calls himself Zimbabwe, and Zimbabwe is Mnangagwa to him. So this is the scenario. The prosecutor had to be prosecuted again and charged after asking for a bribe. So our question is, so how many of these prosecutors are demanding monies from people? How many cases in Zimbabwe are being judged unfairly because the prosecutor has received money, the magistrate has received money, the judge has received money? You still remember the judge is being bought houses. That judge was bought a house in Harare, an expensive 450,000 US dollar house, which was bought to the judge for that judge to go against the savior Kasukwere. You still remember, so that Kasukwere cannot contest in the election. Just imagine this embarrassment that we continue to see happening in the country. So we don't have courts at all. We have kangaroo courts that give COVID judgments, midnight judgments that are given at times, and we can't rely on such kind of a judiciary system. What kind of a judiciary system is that? where we have the people that have more money being held by kids' gloves, and they just walk in court and walk out. We saw people like Mayor Justice Wajgajena walking into court in his Italian-made suit, expensive suit. He just walked in and walked out. He knew the verdict before he even entered court. And what happened? Just recently, we were talking about it on this show. The High Court has just given instruction for all his cars that were impounded to be given back to him. And Zach was left with an egg on the face. Just imagine. So Mnangagwa is causing arms of government and systems of government to fight each other. Because when Zach is saying we are investigating this guy of corruption and we have captured his properties, and then the High Court would come back and say, give him back his properties, while these people are still in the process of investigation. So how does that work at the end of the day? It's just Mnangagwa who is pushing pieces of his chessboard, doing whatever that he wants. And I'm telling you, a country cannot go far when we have such kind of a reputation. Because this is where I always say it defeats the whole purpose of Zimbabwe open for business, because there's no businessmen, business people that can come to Zimbabwe when they know that there's no rule of law in the country. Because if I were to come and invest my millions, and tomorrow all veterans or some ZANU-PF youth will come and want to take over my business, I run to the courts and find that the courts are theirs, and then the verdict is given against me, and then I lose my investment. So do you think serious business people would ever come into Zimbabwe? They won't. This is why you saw him going around all the world shouting Zimbabwe is open for business, and he thought that people were going to be afraid of the snake around his neck. But he came back with nothing, and up to now, from 2018, just ask yourself how many businesses have really come into Zimbabwe. Zero. All these little things that they are opening are Mnangagwa's companies. I've told you that when you see him at some mine or opening up some milling company or going somewhere to open a hotel that they want to call an Arab hotel, it's still his hotel. When he goes to Bulawayo just to open a small bakery of 20 people, 20 employees, it's his franchise. It's him who is just doing a lot of his business. Him, his family, Vene. The country belongs to Vene. So if you are not part of Vene, you can't enjoy anything in Zimbabwe. But there are no serious companies that have come into Zimbabwe. The embarrassing thing is we continue to see businesses, in fact, leaving Zimbabwe. Good businesses have left Zimbabwe. And many of those companies, do you know those the Anglo-American companies, all those companies that established towns in Zimbabwe, that established towns, that some of the towns that have translated into cities, all those companies, they've left and they've come into South Africa. They are now in South Africa. I can make a research. There was a time that I was going through the names of all these major conglomerate companies that left Zimbabwe and came into South Africa. Many, and the list was over 12 of them that left. Just imagine. Huge companies that were making Rhodesia a big giant are companies that have left. And what are we left with? We are left with the Makorokoza. We are left with the people like Owen Nube Muda, who is running with some 2 stones of gold. We are left with Scott Sakupkanya, who is running around the halls asking guys, how many grams have you managed to get today? We are left with people like Wigno Chivayo, who are just defrauding parastatals of government and just milking money. And now he has been given the tender for Starlink while he's asleep in his house. And obviously, they know what they want to do. They'll be putting some stupid markups and then making exorbitant profits out of it. So things just coming to thieves. It's all business of thieves. You still remember what Eddie Cross said when he was interviewed by Dara. He said, this guy, Wigno Chivayo, is not a business person. Chivayo is just a thief. Just imagine. And Eddie Cross saying that to somebody who is always by the side of Mnangagwa. And Mnangagwa is flying all over with him, going to his farm, killing a cow and buying meat there, and standing, posing for photo shoot outs. And somebody who is known to be called a thief and a convicted criminal. And this is where we are. So our country is pathetic. Where we are right now is very far away from a normal country that could lead to success. Otherwise, we really need to continue standing and putting pressure to make sure that our country is liberated. Our country needs to be given back to the right people that will do the right things in Zimbabwe. Otherwise, family, this is one of the updates that I just had for you. So us to continue updating you on what is happening. We have Lois Mhlanga says, thank you for giving us up-to-date information about our Zimbabwe. You are doing a great job. Just hoping Zimbabweans will be united on the day of the summit. Change is coming. Let's all pray. Prayer is our life. Thank you very much, my sister. We will continue to pray, and we will continue to encourage Zimbabweans to hold hands as the summit is approaching. Sister Katie says, greetings, good people all around the globe. Jesus Christ reigns. Indeed, he reigns, and he reigns forever. Petronella says, hi, Chatufa, how are you, my sister? I hope you are blessed. Para says, Chatufa, my brother, you were right about the season of exposure. They will expose each other by the grace of God. We pray. Let's continue praying. Definitely. More and more is coming. Like I promised you, we have not yet seen anything. This is just the beginning. The West is coming in terms of exposure and in terms of fights in ZANU-PF. Right now, we are still at kindergarten. There's a lot that is coming. You will see that God definitely is on the business of making sure that ZANU-PF goes on its knees. You will see it. As of now, the Mchangwa things and the small fights, these are small things. The big ones are coming. So don't worry. You know, when you are catching fish, you start to catch the small ones. As you continue to be patient, you start to take out the brims. So the brims of exposure are coming. The brims of fights in ZANU-PF and implosions in ZANU-PF are coming. Let's continue to watch and pray. God is on the move, and the freedom of Zimbabwean people is coming. This is our season. Definitely, it is coming. And this Sunday, I'm going to be giving you a show where I'm going to be talking about the altar that is holding ZANU-PF right now in power. I'm going to be talking about it on Sunday. So stay tuned. Do not move away from your platform and your channel. Definitely, God is on the move, and a lot is happening. I'm seeing someone writing about Bishop. Let me just put the comment I was about to close down. Greetings, family. I'm so happy. I also heard Bishop Nyamakanga saying the church is planning to visit Sadiq. Okay, yes. Yes, I didn't want to say it. Yes, definitely, we are going there. We are going. Those are the meetings that you heard me talking about. That I'm attending some meetings that are having delegations from all over the world. It's one of those we have been selected to lead that. So I'm one of those people that shall be going to Sadiq very, very soon. It's going to be happening. We are in the preparatory stages, planning for those things to happen. And definitely it's going to be happening. We are going to be putting pressure. I will be giving you information on what will be happening. When I'm there in Botswana, in that hotel that I'll be sleeping, Chatufa will be live. I'll be giving you exactly on the ground what will be happening. If they are not careful, I will put some cameras and recording machinery there, and I will come out with a proper video, and they will all of a sudden see it coming live to the Zimbabwean people. So this is it, family. We are going to be giving you updates. Yes, definitely that is the plan, and a lot is happening, and we have the blessing of the leaders, right? This is going to be happening. So thank you so much for those that have joined us. We are now crossing over to the main channel. Subscribe, like, and share. Thank you very much. You are blessed, family.